Erev Shabbat Shalom. We're about to read Parshat Vayigash, the climax, perhaps, of the entire book of Genesis, where Yosef has become Mishneh LeMelech Paro, the prince of Egypt. He has his brothers, as it were, caught red-handed, and Judah comes forward. Vayigash elav Yehudah. Judah comes forward and says, "Please, sir, we're here. We're going to stand together with Binyamin, who seemingly has stolen your goblet. Take me instead and let the lad go home." And at that moment, Joseph, who until now has been having a straw face on, until now has been having a mask on, loses it completely and says, "Ani Yosef, I am Joseph, ha'od avichai, is my father still alive? We are in fact brothers." And many scholars understand the entire book of Genesis to be a discussion of siblings. How does God envision the creation of the Jewish people? He envisions the creation of Jewish people by finding ways for brothers to get along. Starting from the very beginning, from Cain and Abel, which obviously is a failure, leads to murder, leading through Noah and his sons and their challenges with one another, Abraham with his brother, and then with his nephew, and followingly Isaac and Ishmael, and Jacob and Esau, and finally Joseph and their brothers. And what makes Yaakov the great patriarch is that not that his sons all get along, but somehow at the end of this portion they all come together. And Yaakov is complete because his children get along with one another. And this week we lost in the Jewish people a great lover of Israel, Rabbi Chaim Drukman, less known to some of the English speakers in the world, but was perhaps the senior elder statesman of the religious Zionist movement, and someone who his teacher, Rav Tzvi Yehuda Cohen Cook, said was a genius in loving Jews. And that's very, very true. And that was his strength and sometimes also his weakness, because we all have strengths and weaknesses. But particularly as we enter into the new tax year, as we enter into a new government here in Israel, it's a time to reaffirm our belief that Rav Drukman believed in so profoundly, that the Jewish people are in essence a family that sometimes we disagree with one another. Often we disagree with another. Perhaps disagreements in the family are the most poignant and painful, but there is that underlying love. And I think, I feel at least, in the last several weeks, there's been significant erosion for those who are either in support or in fear of the new government, that there hasn't been an expression of Judaism as love, as brotherly love. My prayer and my hope is that the spirit of Rav Drukman, the spirit of someone who is an Ohev Yisrael in the fullest sense, who says, I love my neighbor precisely because he is different than me, or especially when he's different than me. He would often cite the verse, Hinei matov u'manayim shevet achim gam yachad. How wonderful it is when brothers sit gam yachad, also together. He would say, what's gam? Why do you need shevet achim yachad? Why do we need gam? Gam also when they disagree. Also when they disagree, there can be love. There can be respect. There can be a sense of coming together. And I know it's a scary time with many expressions of extremism truly on all sides. Let us find a way that we're able to respect democracy, respect the inherent values that each human being is created in God's image, but within that also respect the bond that binds us together as an amazing people. If you haven't yet, as we come to the end of 2022 tax year, it's a time to support Moed. Moed believes so profoundly in the message that all of Israel, particularly those we disagree with at times, have a place at the table For Judaism doesn't belong to one narrow interpretation, but it belongs to a broadly expressed, broadly understood set of values which we all connect to. May it be a time of connection and of hope for us, for Am Yisrael, and the entire world. Shabbat Shalom.